Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Everything I say is alleged, my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Let's get into this deflection, leak calls, and the side chicks, okay? Tasha K did an interview with Rocky Bivens, which is Latasha Bivens' husband from Escape. It's a whole lot of mess going on these YouTube streets, on these internets, okay? Let me just say this first. Rocky Bivens gives me player from the Himalaya, okay? Like, he's an old school player, and he think that shit still work in this day, okay? He talked in circles, which was just ridiculous. He was stuttering like nobody's business. Never answer any questions directly. Like, I can't even deal. You know what? Let me give Tasha K her kudos. Because she get these people on these phone calls and in these interviews and make them look straight up stupid. They end up telling on themselves all the goddamn time. So kudos to Tasha damn K, okay? This is a case of when a hit dog holler. And that's all I'm going to say about it. So I wrote down a few things that I wanted to, that stuck out to me from this interview. And let's get into it. So the first thing that stuck out to me is when he was like, he woke up to some humor. And he gives Tasha K her accolades for being who she is. And when the Rob stuff happened, she kept him in the shadows. Like, wait, what? What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? It raised a light bulb for me. And I was like, are you one of the people who gave up the deets on Rob? Were you an observer for the downfall? Like, I just got questions. I got questions. Because that didn't even sound right. For something to say when you first get on the phone call? Really? Another thing, he mentioned that the girl's real name. And then later on in the interview, Tasha said she never knew the girl's real name. He tried to act like he didn't know her name. Like, come on. If you got her all in this federal case and all that stuff, you know her name. So stop acting like you ain't know her name, okay? He also said that there's a Fed case against Unique, this young lady, okay? And her family are criminals from New Orleans, the NO, okay? He said it's not his phone that's texting her. He said she's obsessed. He said she's a stalker, that she moved next to them, and him and Tasha is on the case, that they laugh at it, child. He also said that she's delusional, and also that he can't have children. Child, I can't. He also let Tasha know that he wasn't calling Tasha to speak to her about this woman. He was calling to speak about Escape because they pissed him off. Okay, so Tasha K asked him about R. Kelly because he mentioned R. Kelly earlier. He says he's part of Rockland Records. He mentioned, this is how he said, Rockland Records, the federal government, he's been in this business for 30 years. He said he tried to tell Rob what was going on. I got you. You just leave us with more questions. What you mean you tried to tell Rob what was going on? Okay, because that took me right back to that interview that R. Kelly did with Gail, and he looked at the camera and said, 30 years? That's how y'all gonna do me after 30 years? So to me, it sounded like an inside job. I'm just saying, have y'all seen that movie? So he brings up Todd. He said he's not like Todd or Toddina. And I'm like, what does Todd got to do with this case? I'm not understanding. What does he got to do with what's going on with you and this side chick? I'm not understanding. He said he's Mr. Fix It. So he's going to fix it. Okay. He named people like Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, Tamar Braxton and stuff like that. What are you trying to say by mentioning those people? Because I'm not understanding. That wasn't clear. Another thing that came to mind for me is while he was on this phone call with Tasha K, I'm wondering if Tasha was sitting there listening to this phone call. But he answered that question for me because he said hi to somebody, and then he was telling Tasha K, like, people think he's Denzel while he walking. Like, what? You are no Denzel, okay? You are no Denzel. He said that Tasha is good, but he's good too. Like, what does that mean, sir? I'm not understanding. He keep claiming that Tasha K, when she see what he got, she gonna change her stance. But Tasha says she ain't on nobody's side. She's on God's side. Another thing, he brings up Candy. Again, what Candy got to do with this, okay? He brings up Candy and said that Candy's acting like he's unimportant. And then says, have you heard the big news today? He said that Todd was sucking trans peen, Tamika was sending him naked pictures, and Tiny is in big trouble. None of that is out on the news. So why would you bring that up? Or you trying to make a stir about it? Because right now it just sounds like deflection to me. So Tasha asks him about the 30K. He says the sisters are together. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What you mean the sisters are together? So he said the scene that they showed was chopped up. He says that the company was paying Tamika's Tasha's money. So my question is, if the check was in Tamika's name, why was the check endorsed and signed by you, according to Tamika and allegedly? And if I'm not mistaken, you were saying that the money was for songwriting. But according to Candy, this company is out for artists, and when the artists perform, so they're getting royalties based off them performing and not the songwriting. So that's very contradictory. So we need to clear that up. I need to understand what's really going on. And Candy's coming on tonight on her speak on it, so I guess we're going to get some clarification, okay? So another question I have is, okay, if the checks was cashed by the sisters, as you say, right? So you mean to tell me Tasha got her check and she was cashing Tamika's check thinking that the money was hers? That is unfair. And like, y'all telling on yourselves. Y'all say she ain't steal the money, but technically y'all did steal the money if Tasha wasn't the one, not Tasha, if Tamika wasn't the one depositing the check. Why didn't y'all let her deposit the check and then give, if that's the case, Tasha was owed money, why didn't y'all let Tamika cash the check and give you money from her bank account instead of y'all stealing her checks, allegedly? So Rocky claims that there's one dot that needs to be connected, and that one dot is the Holy Grail. Like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. He said he's affiliated, but he put this post on Instagram. He's like an Olivia Pope, like somebody that's close to the president or highest to the gang member. Like, what are you trying to say? You done incriminated yourself on this phone call, okay? Like I said, it sounds like an inside job. Did y'all see that movie again? So he says he's an entertainment manager for 30 years, and that's how he get his money. He said his partners are millionaires. So Tasha asked him if he had an affair, outright, straight up front. And let me tell you something. When I say he avoided that question, he went around in circles. You know that song, You Got Me Going in Circles? That's what he did. He never answered the question outright, okay? But he says he ain't no saint. And admits to cheating, because he says, you know, I ain't no saint, but with that woman, he ain't even say he didn't cheat with her. He ain't even complete that sentence. So who knows? So Rocky says that he never wanted to be famous, but he is powerful. Child. Back to that interview with Robin and Gail. Remember how that happened to him? How powerful are you? Okay. Because listen, somebody always going to be the sacrificial lamb. But anyway, he said he could have made the situation with Tasha go away, but he didn't know her. Like, that was a whole public situation. Why you ain't reach out to Tasha then if you could so-called fix shit? Okay, but anyway. He claims he can't have children by the laws of nature. He said it's a medical thing. So I want to know, how did him and Tasha have their 25-year-old son? Like, can you elaborate on that? So Tasha breaks down this whole digital footprint, and he was like, he know about the digital footprint, but it ain't him. It's a whole federal case. He back to that whole thing. So Tasha K basically let him know, like, listen, I am good at what I do. And you've been stuttering on this phone, going around in circles, okay? Anybody that's telling the truth will just tell the truth without all the hoopla. And I totally agree with Tasha K. He said his friends told him not to call Tasha K. And Tasha K said, well, you should have listened to them because I am good at what I do. Okay. So that was about it on that interview. He basically said that he's not worried. And when him and Tasha meet up, she gonna see. For me, it was a whole bunch of player from the Himalaya calling Tasha baby and things like that and all this other crap. And listen, me personally, I ain't telling Tasha to leave her man at all. Do you? Y'all been together almost 30 years. Do y'all? But, girl, pay attention is all I'm going to say. Pay attention to what's going on. So let's get to this side chick. Now, by no means ain't nobody coming up for this girl Because for some reason, it's been a phenomenon with these side chicks coming out thinking like they so important. Like, y'all still mess with a married man. He had a whole wife. So how does that make you more important than the wife? I'm not understanding. I don't get it. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, his wife's still going to be with him, as you can see. Tasha's still going to be with her man, okay? She said they solid in one of her interviews. So that's all I got to say about her. If y'all want to see what she had to say, sign up for Tasha K Live and y'all can see her interview. I'm not even interested. The information that I'm getting is from whatever's on YouTube and whatever Tasha give us, okay? I'm not really interested in that part of it. So let's move on to these deflections, okay? Tasha's going around doing interviews. Not Tasha K, Tasha Scott is going around doing interviews, and she basically coming down on Candy, talking about Candy can't sing. She said Tamika couldn't sing. Basically, she talked about a time Joe came in the studio with them, and a song he wrote, you know, it just wasn't, when Candy sang and when Tamika sang, it wasn't the sound he was looking for. But when she got in the booth, that's what he was looking for. And she claimed she didn't want to do it, but she didn't explain why she didn't want to do it. She said her husband explained to Joe why she didn't want to do it. Latasha's giving me David Ruffin from The Temptations. She's giving me Gladys Knight in the Pips, as Candy referred to it. Like, she thinks she is the shit. And the most disturbing part is, like, she's promoting this gospel album, but she on this internet with the mess. Like, really? Then when anybody asks her about this $30,000, she always deflect and be like, I want to talk about this with family. I want to do it behind closed doors. It's too late. It's out there now. Answer the question. Your husband done told it, though. He basically said, allegedly, that y'all did cash them doggone checks. That they was sending Tamika, Tasha's money to Tamika. So y'all took it upon yourself to cash them checks, allegedly. Then your husband out here talking about your sister sent him naked pictures. You okay with that? You okay with your husband putting that kind of stuff out about your sister? Well, I guess when you in the war, ain't no fair game, okay? This ain't even going to be good. I doubt if Escape ever come back together, because the husband done put out there that Candy husband Todd was doing something crazy, that Tiny's in trouble. Like, this ain't looking good for Tasha. And lastly, Candy been getting it from all angles. She was getting it from Tamar Braxton. She was getting it from the guy from Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee. She was getting it from Tasha. She was getting it from SWV. Like, everybody was coming at her from these different angles. Like, I don't know how it all turn back to Candy. I just don't get how everybody coming at Candy when Candy was just supporting Tamika. I don't understand why everybody is coming at Candy. I just don't get it. For me, this whole Escape drama is taking over and outshining the purpose of the show of SWV and Escape. I want to see what the outcome is of all this drama outside of the show. It's just taken away from the two groups getting together and performing and making a historical moment. Again, thank you, Escape, for providing content. I really appreciate it. Okay. But we're going to see how this saga ends, child. If it even ever ends. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Hit the notification bell so that you know when my next video uploads. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.